Let's go over the history of the line of King David. Yeah. Um, uh, if you go Bible study, right? Bible study, you'll notice that there's a consistency that the faithful have to cling to their faith to be righteous. And there's a large movements of barbarism, barbarians, and people that take the big point of perception of quote contention among the barbarians and the righteous is the true nature of the essence of God. Uh, Among the barbarians, God is a possessive pronoun in a first person that actively participates in their lives to protect them from people that are the possessive pronoun first person followers of Satan. Okay. And that God actively participates in our lives, okay, to defeat our enemies. And that's not, it's not the case. It's not the case. God's omniscient and omnipotent, the essence of life, and we have a thing called free will. Okay. God gives us life, and we have free will to submit to faith in God and understand the natural laws provided by God to continue our life of sacrifice. And this is in the Bible and in the Quran. And I don't know about the Torah, I haven't read it. But so these arguments about the nature of the essence of being of God, okay, is ludicrous if you try to turn God into a possessive pronoun or a first person that actively participates in your delusional insanity. All right. Jesus is not people's God. The poor little girl on the Christ and Prophecy thing they had on TV. You know, she went to go watch the Superbook thing, and she wanted Jesus as her God because the prodigal father was so forgiving of the prodigal son, and she wanted a God like that, you know, that would forgive them when they were bad, so he could come back and live and be good and have a good life, right? And sweet little girl, you know, you're sitting there watching it, going, "These bastards." I don't have to kick their ass. They kick their ass every time they go on TV to make lots of money and scare people over conflict over money. I don't have to send them to hell. They're already there, right? We're not living the kingdom of heaven because they're business partners with people. We could run you over in the parking lot of Best Buy if you didn't exist. So, you know, you have to, it's very hard because their mindset is pervasive around here. Okay, to kill all their enemies and win and then be pervasive and dominant, right? And so you get into these certain mindsets. It's been happening to me for years. You know, I'm just going to have to kill these motherfuckers. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to just get the technology to kill them. And then you have to get that, oh shit, I'm feeling them because I'm so saturated in their mindset that they want to assimilate me to their group because of the influence and the chi or the ki, you know, the energy that flows through the body of the Messiah, you know. And so me and Suzuki been working on this, and then finally he's got to, you know, he's like, you know, this is your time, like Jesus said to Saladin. And you know, you gotta, these are your people, and you gotta, so let's just, you know what you need to do. And I'm like, yeah, but Paramount right now, my thing is, you know, the only reason I'm surviving right now is to stop and eliminate abuse. Is not to try to recover, to try to reclaim my intimacy, my romance, and my sex life. Okay. Okay. I'm not 18. I'm 59, right? And I ain't going to be 18. I'm not going to reverse aging. Okay. I know once they've been stopped and the ecosystem recovers and I'm able to recover the ecosystem and I'm surrounded by people, okay, that love the trees as much as I love the trees. You know, I know trees can't love me. I know if I attack the trees will cause a disease and try to kill me. Okay. So, and I can't love all the trees in this valley. I just do the best I can with this one. And the trees know. Okay. He pulls all the weeds and cuts the weeds to keep the herbicides at bay. He does this and that and that. He does everything he can. Okay, this man works as hard, and he tells us. I talk to the trees, yes, and I hug the trees. Yeah, I'm a tree hugger. Well, they provide oxygen, shade, cooling in the summer, warmth. They help maintain and keep the warmth in around the house in the winter. Okay, they provide pecans, for us and the critters to eat, for the pollinators to come and help it. They when the branches come off and when they're being trimmed and whatever, we have the firewood. I mean, if you consider the tree like that Giving Tree book that Barbara bought for Natalie, right? I mean, it's just, at the end of the thing, the kid's sitting wanting. And at the end of the story, the kid's sitting on the stump of the tree. And the tree's like, man, I gave you everything I had, but you still want more, right? Now you know how Jesus feels, right? so, it's just when you look at people, okay, that are never satisfied with the beauty of the gifts. And then people, trees. Well, what about those people that those trees fell in on their trailer and kill family members on their trailer because nature was reacting violently because of the viciousness and selfishness of human beings? And people weren't slowing down and taking time to making time to be there for each other, and weren't building adobe houses that you'd have to do some repairs on the house, but you wouldn't die from the tree falling on it. So you're going to blame the tree for human assholes? You guys do that all the time. What about when this happens? Okay. Consider the relativity. Consider the causality. Okay. Half these people on these Carnival Cruise Line commercials and stuff that I'm watching on TV here during the football stuff on the Royal Caribbean, all right, probably live in apartments. Okay. Or houses where if the tree is too close and too big, it will crush and kill somebody in a room. All right. Not built to last, not Solomonistic at all, right? But happy and smiling and cheering and having great times and pretending to have these dysfunctional sex life, reminders of him or whatever, stuff like that. When you meet somebody in hell, you have sex with them and you reproduce, all you're going to have is memories of accepting that hell and then trying to have sex and reproduce in that hell and passing it on to your kids. And then you go, oh, you should feel guilty for meeting someone and having kids. How are you going to pass on faith in God from father to prodigal if you don't have kids? If only the Nazis have kids. If only the people that trained people to UFC fight have kids. If only the people that train people to go defeat their enemies and show no mercy and take no prisoners, like the tattoo on the woman. It's flesh and bone on hemisphere. Take no prisoners, right? It says on her, if that is actually her tattoo, or if it's just written on her by advertisers, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it was a tattoo, because you guys, your emotional and sexual relationships are so dysfunctional. It's almost, emotionally unbearable. And it's very difficult, and it's very hard to deal with. And it's very hard to clean up because of the constant, pervasive, invasive presence of selfish people. That's my dreams. A lot of people like in my family, I'm trying to explain to them I'm the Messiah and why I'm the Messiah. And you're just crazy, you're nuts, you're this. And trying to explain to them athletics, yeah, you haven't been chemically poisoned by all the people that keep you addicted to going on Carnival cruises and betting and all this stuff. And so, yeah, you're going to be able to do things athletically, okay, that I can't do at 59, poisoned by all the old, all the perverts that want to reverse aging and stem cell research and clone, right. And I don't want to. I want to age gracefully, living the Gospels, right? But they won't let me do that. Okay? But I guarantee you this. When I was 18 and you were 18, I would have let you score because I felt sorry for you, Gordon. Okay. I let you win. You know what I mean? I'd be nice. I was nice to the kids at the, I felt bad for Joe because, my mom worked with his mother. And that kid, like I said, he would grab his fingernails and rip. I couldn't imagine, if my mom going back, and the lady would sit there and say, they would talk and all that stuff. I was like, that woman does know that her son rips the skin off my arms every basketball game, right? And I don't do that to him, And then if who's going to win? It's like, your son will take the flesh off of my flesh with his fingernails and rip it off, okay, to try to stay in the basketball game, do as the coach says, and win the basketball game. Okay. And my coach told me to do that. I would either be benched or kicked off the team or kick myself off the team like I did with Jimmy Oliver and Manny Treviso. Okay. They draw a charge from Willie Love. I don't want to hurt Willie Love. Willie Love is 6'6", 245 pounds. I'm like, yeah, but if you're quick enough to get in front of him and draw a charge and fall back jiu-jitsu style, he may lose his balance, and like I did over Zeke, and, all I did was sprain my thumb for a month. Willie's a big guy. Willie could tear his meniscus, or, he'll take away his chance to get a scholarship to try to get income to provide for his family in Albuquerque. That's a tough place to live, right? Even if you look like Franco Harris and you're bigger than he is. Your senior year in high school, right? It's still hard. Adriana, Chuck Valley, Chuck was 6'2", 215 pounds, full in mustache. And told me about nights he spent crying himself to sleep in the alleys because people treated him like he was a grown man. And he was only 13 years old. All right. And then he cried. I can know you're not sleeping on the top bunk. I'm sleeping on the top bunk. I'm not having your butt in my face all night. I'll check. When does Pancho finally get out of the bathroom? I don't know. You tell me. I've never stayed around to find out. He stayed. He was late, but yeah. Well, he wanted to take a shower. And I understood, and I didn't blame him. When Pancha came in, she's in the bathroom. I thought that was your bathroom. No, Val's in the downstairs bathroom. And so Pancha, I got up early. I think I took a shower the night before. I can't remember. So I just did my hair and brushed my teeth and left. It's like, well, I need to go take a shower. So when's Pancha get done? I don't know. I've never stayed. Well, I walked to school, and Mike would come and pick her up and take her. So, yeah, so they could get to school in a couple of minutes. It took me a while to get there. So, funny. But, yeah, talking about the good old times. Yeah, good old Chuck Valley. He was a good kid. Yeah. Even though, no, I understood exactly why he didn't come out with Mean Jim and the guys. He told me why. He said, I'm big, and they look like a man, and they would just start coming out swinging. Well, you're like a $140. and you came out, and plus I look, Mexican or indigenous, and stuff. And so they were cool with me, and they were, and they sat and I talked and I talked and we talked. And Chuck was standing by the kitchen door, had a window in it like that one. And he's, like, good luck. I'm like, are you fucking serious? You're gonna make me go out here by myself? It worked. It worked. They all sat and they came around me and we talked, and you're brave. I mean, and they counted coup on me and they left. So I can't fault Chuck for the results. A lot of people in the military, that pussy, he was afraid of getting his ass kicked. Well, if he had came out and they were intimidated about him and thought he was a man, because he's 6'2" with a full blown and stuff, and I had a mustache, but it was obvious, I was like, maybe 135 pounds. I was about 5'9", 5'10", 135 pounds. I was a rail. I was skinny. So it seemed a lot less daunting or intimidating, like someone's going to come fight you when you send out this little skinny guy. And then I sat and talked. It worked. So, you can't argue with the results. So, it didn't upset me at all. I just thought it was funny. Afterwards, when it was happening, I was not amused. I was like, son of a bitch, he's letting me go out here all by myself. There's 5 of them. Oh, it's funny. But that happened to me all the time. It happened to me with Bob and Brett and Darren. They get into it and stuff, and it's like, I'm going to have to handle this shit all by myself, right? Which I already knew. I was like, damn, Bob knew what it was like. He said that his first traffic stop, he pulled over some kids that did a California stop at a thing, and he pulled them over and he ran the thing and all that stuff, and they came up, the plates came up hot or whatever and stuff, and so he had to call for other people. That's what they told him, trained him to do, right? And as it turned out, they had a couple of 9s and under AKs and stuff under the seat, and the whole 9 yards. There was like 5 of them in there, and they were armed for bear. He said, if I would have done it again, I probably would have came out, got my shotgun, and came up when I talked to him. So no, you were good to be ignorant and naive. Because if you'd have came up with a shotgun, they'd killed you and drove off. So handling it, naive cop, hey, you stop there, blah, blah, and then calling it in, and then having all the backup come, and then them sit there and make a business decision and go, let's get locked up let's do our time for 22 months. And they get out and we can do crimes in and do crimes out. Like the Mexican girl with the tattoos, I think that's hilarious. And then just, okay, well, I'll do my time. And everybody, oh, wow, she's so brave and she's so tough. She's a horrible human being. But she's physically desirable. And you made her a horrible human being by giving her this hell instead of standing up for heaven with me. Okay? And that's the way you guys are. And, it does not look like it's going to fundamentally change in human beings at all. It looks like the focal point of change is going to be quantum computing and Earl Parsons. And I've had to come to terms with that, and it's something that is horrible, because my own son doesn't even help. My own children don't even recognize it. My wife's, I don't know if they don't tell them, because my family's that way. My dad does tell himself the truth and sits there and then gets quiet and then goes right back to, are the cats playing? What's the weather going on? And, he can sit and listen to me and go right back to, well, Jesus, our God, will take care of it. And yeah, and it's like, you can go and explain to him, here's the real truth. And here's what the Vatican Corporation gives people, and they debate about and argue it when it's obviously wrong. Do you accept the cartoon or reality? Well, let's accept reality so we can live the Lord's Prayer now. And they'll go right back to the cartoon because they're afraid of the people that are the cartoon administrators that attack you in your sleep while you try to sleep. So it's horrible. And apparently, the technology is programmed by horrible people. But if you accept the program, it's harder to attack people while they sleep. So that's why, Suzuki, don't badger the witness. Don't tell them how this is happening. Just let them be comfortable. I'm like, oh shit. I don't think they can override the computer, so you just let them be comfortable. You try to tell them, and and then then they'll go right back into, like Jackie and Miranda at Blake's, and the kids at fast foods, right back into the cartoons. I'm gonna go back and watch cartoons. Like my boy, I forgot his name. Oh my Lord. No, I don't want to know. I don't want you to fix my religion. I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable with it. I need that magic afterlife. Otherwise, I can't survive this hell now. I'll go crazy and try to kill everybody and kill myself, and then not come next lifetime. Don't come back as Shinobi. You're like, wow, that's messed up. I can't help. My life's in the Book of Revelation, so I can't not come back as. Or you know what I mean? Come back. You're not really coming back. If you're fortunate enough to survive and have a molecular transfiguratory state of being that is faithful to help people be faithful, that's a good thing. I think, no, they're not going to try to get rid of it. John Rhys Geddes and John Davidson Rockefeller. I'll kill one half the country to kill the other half of the country. Well, then you got to live with Joseph Stalin, and you got no Nikolai Lenins, no Earl Parsonses, and then you just got a bunch of Sellites like Harry Truman that will mass murder women and children to keep the corporation running. Well, that's a perfectly grisly and horrid. Yeah. The Night of the Grizzly. Clint Walker? Yeah. And Keenan? Yeah, the dude that plays Mr. Winter Warlock on the... Yeah, he's the older guy on that. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, The Night of the Grizzly. I remember watching that when I was a kid. Okay, now I have trouble watching... I watched some Thundarr the Barbarian last night, Another prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I survived the lack of love with. Yeah. Thundarr, the Bar, 1994. A wayward planet goes between the moon and planet Earth, causing cosmic destruction. Right? Super sorcery and science. Yeah, just what we need. Super sorcery and science. The super sorcery stuff is all bullshit. It ain't real. The science makes you think the super sorcery shit is real. Thundarr, the Barbarian. Okay. I love you. Okay, all you monks out there, Ooklas. Hang in there, all right? Win that football game.